Good morning and welcome to CrossPoint Online. My name is Austin.
And I'm Allison.
And we're so excited that you chose to join us. If today is your first time, Allison, tell them why it's important to sign up.
Well, we do give a donation.
Yeah, $5.
To one of our local charities that we support here in Maysville.
Yep.
And that goes through your name. So
Yep.
we would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if you sign up, Chad will reach out to you. It's just a very easy way to get connected, ask questions about the church.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or whatever.
And if it is your first time, we are so excited that you chose to join us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, you want to tell them why it's important to share the stream?
Well, I always say this is kind of like my thing. 20th week sharing, and today's just that day that your mom, your sister, your friend, your coworker clicks on it and watches with you today.
Yeah,
so it's super
absolutely.
important to share that. Do we have a goal today, Austin?
We can make one.
Let's make one.
All
What's
right.
your goal?
I would like to see 20 shares.
Okay. I think we can do that.
Yeah, between all three service times of 9:30,
Okay.
11:30, 7, let's do 20.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So share the stream today, please.
And speaking of inviting friends to church and sharing the stream, we have a big Sunday coming up. We're like a month away.
Would that be Easter?
It would be Easter. And so Easter is a great opportunity to invite your friends to church. You never know of Jesus and his resurrection, what that might do for somebody. And this year, we're going to be talking about hope.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm pretty excited about that. You can go to crosspointonline.net/Easter, and it will be on the app this week as well.
Oh, perfect.
And there's Anna Current made some cool social media like graphics that you can download and share on social media.
Okay,
and
Anna,
so it's there. And yeah, very easy to invite your friend to church.
Absolutely. And like Austin said, it is just a great Sunday for that first-time guest to come with you.
Yeah.
Now, we also have some other things that are going on.
Tell
us a little bit about
going
that.
on right now. So we're in our 4 series. We do it every year. We just talk about how, in a time where churches are known for what they're against, we want to be known for who we are for. And so,
which is
everybody. And so on March 17th, any money given, whether it be online, in person, at any of our campuses, we're going to give it all away. And then also on March 23rd, we're going to have a nice little serve day. So you can serve on March 23rd by Loving on East End or Bracken Easter Carnivals that day as well.
Correct, yep. And then we also have another opportunity to serve for the soap for the Derby.
Yep, on April 13th.
Perfect.
So that one's after Easter. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can find all that information out at crosspointonline.net/4.
Okay, perfect. Or in the app, right?
Yep. You can find it in the app as well.
Austin holds the app down.
Yeah.
Everything that you ever would need is in the app, and it just has the same little icon in the App Store as our Facebook does.
Yep. So you can go to CrossPoint now in any app store, and it will be there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that you guys have a great Sunday, and we are so thankful that you're joining us.
Yeah.
Well, good morning. My name is Lexi Burns, and I want to welcome you, whether you're here joining us in the room, online, down at Easton, or at our Bracken campus. So if it's your first time here, you can either let us know by filling out a yes card on the seat in front of you, or going to our CrossPoint Now app and clicking First Time Guest. And if you do this, we will make a $5 donation to a local charity in your name. Also, I don't like to brag, but if it's your first time, it's always a treat when I'm up here hosting. So you never know what I'll say. So we have some things coming up this month. So on March 12th, we have our How to Read the Bible class. So whether you have never picked up the Bible in your life or you have always read the Bible, join us, sign up as well on the Yes card or our CrossPoint Now app, and this will be just a class for us to learn how to dive deeper into the Bible and apply it into our life. So until March 17th, Kid XP has a good little donation for our 4 series going on. So out in the lobby, you may have noticed a bin. They will be collecting cans in this, so you can donate some cans, parents, or even if you don't have a kid back there. Everyone has canned goods in their pantry. We can donate at least one. Help the kids out. All right. As we started our 2024 series, me and Chad got in a little argument. Well, he says on stage we're for everybody, okay? But I was wrestling with this. So, as I just said, out in the lobby, we have the bin that the kids are collecting cans in. But some people have put trash in the bin. Are we really for them? I mean, and they said, well, Lexi, how can we make it to where people don't put trash in there? That's a big sign. Come on. But Chad said we're still for them no matter how much trash they put in there. So I prayed about it, let it go. Driving to school, I drive the AA. And when I'm in the fast lane, people drive like 5 miles per hour under the speed limit, or exactly the speed limit. It's the fast lane for a reason. And Chad, since he's an Ohio driver, he understands that because you know how Ohio drivers are. He said he can work on that with me as well, but we're for them as well. Lastly, as I'm wearing my blue today, I don't like Louisville fans. Tails down. And as Kevin Orm said, amen, I don't like Browns fans either. But we are for everybody, as we really say we are, all jokes aside. So as you stand to worship with us this morning, I have a little scripture to get us set for today. So in 1 John chapter 4, verse 11, it says, "Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another." Please stand and worship with us today.
Face the waves. I don't want to be afraid. No, I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to fear the storm just because I hear it roar. I don't want to fear the storm. No, I don't want to fear the storm. Peace be still, say the word, and I will send my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Peace be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. So I'm not gonna be afraid, 'cause these waves are only waves. I'm not gonna be afraid. No, I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not gonna fear the storm. You are greater than its roar. I'm not gonna fear the storm. No, I'm not gonna fear it all. Yeah. Peace be still. Say the word, and I will send my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Oh, peace be still. You are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace, peace, yeah, over me, yeah. So let faith rise up. Oh heart, believe that faith rise up in me. Let faith rise up. Oh heart, believe that faith rise up in me. So let faith rise up. Oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Hey, let faith rise up. Oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Peace be still. Say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea. Till I'm dancing in the deep. Oh, peace be still. You are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace, peace, yeah, over me, yeah. Whoa, peace, peace, yeah, over me, yeah.
Man, let's lift up a clap of praise and celebrate this one. Let's sing this together this morning, worthy of every song. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you, God. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. We sing holy, holy. There is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, all the praise. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Every breath, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you, God. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes. build my life on the love promised. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. It doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now.
Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean so I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than you are right now. Sing Jireh.
And Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. Forever enough, always enough. You're more than enough. Ever enough, always enough. You're more than enough. I don't wanna forget how I feel right now on the mountaintop. I can see so clear what it's all about. So stay by my side when the sun goes down. Don't wanna forget how I feel right now. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. forever enough, always enough. You're more than enough.
I'm already loved. I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I know who I am. I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved more than I could imagine. And that is enough. I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I know who I am. I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved more than I could imagine. That is enough. I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. Sing it. I know who I am. Yes, I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved more than I could imagine. That is enough. That is enough. That is enough. That is enough. Sing that chorus one more time. And Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. Thank you so much for worshiping with us this morning. We invite you guys to be seated today.
Jesus dared his followers to pray, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven."
He actually expects us to believe that he did not die to only save us for heaven someday, but that heaven can break in and even bring change to our broken, fallen, and sinful world.
Jesus proclaimed this as good news to the poor, sight for the blind, freedom for the oppressed.
To which the religious and the rulers then responded with an assassination plot. Why? For good reason.
The religious and rulers, then and now, recognize God's love as dangerous.
It tears down walls.
It levels the playing field.
It shows mercy where it is not deserved and grace where it has not been earned.
It removes our right to judge.
It leaves the 99 to seek the one.
It exposes selfishness.
And now he asks us to decide, will we join him in his revolutionizing love?
Will we be for everyone else who has gotten the message loud and clear that there is no room in God's kingdom for them? Will we join him in being the answer to that prayer, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven"?
If so, then these three words will be more than a motto. They could spark a revolution. We are for.
And it is great to be with you. Thank you for your worship here and in Augusta and Easton online. And we want to celebrate a couple of things today. Some really cool things that have happened. One is, thank you for everyone who took little flags and we're praying last week for our Guatemala mission team. They have all arrived back safely. Can we welcome them back? They're here with their church family today. And then last Sunday night in our Student XP service, Pastor Stephanie, we got to celebrate with the students there a baptism of Maya Buford. And she's over here on camera. Let's celebrate and make some noise for Maya today for stepping up and being baptized. And if you were here on Wednesday night, wasn't it an incredible time of worship on Wednesday night? Man, you all did really opened yourselves up. I want to thank Candace Eichbush and Laura Jefferson for helping make room for people to pray. And we just believe that God has worked in that night and is going to continue to work. And can we thank all those who made that happen? They did an amazing job. And I want to lastly just thank a small group. Johnny and Molly Rurik and Sue and Terry Howard's small group came in and served the meal and gave everybody who usually serves at Celebrate Recovery a break and provided everything. And we are so grateful for them stepping up. Let's thank them. All right, I changed things up just a little bit. Nobody knew I was going to do this, and everybody loves it when I do that. And just would you do me a favor real quick? If you're in Augusta, Easton, or right here in this room, would you just stand up real quick? I have one question that I would love to have. Go ahead, don't be afraid. It's okay. Stretch your legs a little bit. An open-ended question. Wherever you want to go with it is fine, but look at somebody around you. If you don't know them, introduce yourself, because that's just polite. And then after that, answer this question. Who are you following? And I know we're all following Jesus. Let's skip that one. We'll get to that in a minute. Who are you following other than Jesus? Just talk amongst yourself real quick here. Online, we'd love to see you comment real quick. Who are you following? And then you can have a seat whenever you're ready. So wherever you are watching today and joining us, feel free to just shout in this part of the message your answers out loud. Like, who would you say is the most followed person in the world, social media-wise? Taylor Swift. Yeah, that is who I guess too. That is not true. She's several million behind this person. Anybody else have a guess? Selena? No, that's a good one though. No. The number one most followed person in the world across all social media platforms is this person. Does anybody know who it is? Let me see a picture. Portuguese football soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo. That's right, number one. He has 897 million followers. Put in perspective, Taylor Swift does not rule the world. She only has 534 million. Yeah, she's got a ways to go. I didn't know. Yeah, interesting. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jimmy Donaldson, I believe from South Carolina? He is better known as Mr. Beast. Anybody heard of him? Yeah, if you don't know who he is, there's some fans. He's not going to be here, but I do have a video clip. Watch. This lets you know what he does.
I'm gonna spend the next 50 hours buried alive in this coffin. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. Boys, seal me up! Welcome to my coffin. I have a camera here, and down by my feet.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how much he makes a month? Anybody have a guess? He makes $3 to $5 million a month. You couldn't pay me $3 million to be buried alive. Could you? I couldn't. I can't do it. He was like 50 hours he was buried in there just so he can make. Good for him. I'm happy for him. Mr. Beast, you're a beast. Next one, my daughter helped me with this one. I wanted to know kind of somebody who was famous on the tickety-tockety. Anna loves it when I call it that. So I'm like, Anna, who's somebody famous on tickety-tockety? And she's like, Dad, they don't really do dances anymore. They do like vlogs and those kind of things. But I'm like, well, give me a dance. Give me somebody who's dancing. And she's like, well, Charlie D'Amelio. Anybody heard of her? Yeah, so here's a little clip for her so you can see what she does.
Trust who? Trust me and I can set you free.
There she goes.
If your man came straight to me.
She lip syncs and she duck lips. You know? I mean, I'm going to do this so we can raise for money. You know? Be the dancing idiot pastor on there. Go viral. You know? She started when she was like in 8th grade. She was a year or so ago, 2022, I think it was, she won Dancing with the Stars, you know? All because she started lip syncing and dancing on TikTok. You know, and I've been thinking about this week because I think that this whole social media thing may have like kind of redefined what a follower means. Because when you think about it, as followers of these folks, and nothing wrong with it. I mean, Mr. Beast, he is entertaining, you know, and, the soccer player, I didn't even know he existed until the world told me he did, and that's all good and fine, right? But a follower, in this case, means that we are pretty much passive. And we, as followers, watch somebody else live their life. We watch somebody else do something amazing or stupid. We watch someone else do something that's like, wow, that's inspiring, that's incredible. And so our job as followers is to hit the like and to make comments. And the more likes and more comments that the people that we follow get, the more money they get. And so the ones who reap the benefit are the ones who rightly should, because they're the one living life. They're the one doing something, while the rest of us are in kind of this passive mode as followers. But Jesus, in his ministry, he came along and he said, following actually means that you do something. Following actually means that you're not passive, you're actually active. We talked about this last Sunday. The kingdom of heaven is not about territories or bloodlines or thrones. The kingdom of heaven is about wherever God's light breaks into the darkness, and it is active. If you had one word to sum up the kingdom of heaven, it is active. It is action, bringing light wherever in this world we see darkness. And so Jesus, I believe, is calling us to have a fresh view of what it means to be a follower. Because I don't really think he's interested in having a few likes and some comments. He's calling us to something that allows God's kingdom to be active in our lives in such a way that it can't be contained. It ends up flowing out into the lives of the people around us. And so in Matthew chapter 4, verse 18, it says this: As Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed him, and going from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, and they were in the boat with their father Zebedee, preparing their nets. And Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father, and they followed him. I'd like us to just consider this today, that 4 means that the kingdom of heaven breaks in on our lives and through our lives when we not only believe in Jesus, but we follow him in an active sense. Not some likes and comments, but we get up, we leave where we were, and we follow him someplace new. Jesus said, come follow me. As soon as he announces that this kingdom of heaven, as we read last week, has already come near in him, that the light is breaking in on the darkness in the land of darkness. In that land of the darkness, the first thing Jesus does is he calls 4 fishermen, Peter, Andrew, James, and John, to come and follow him. He doesn't say, come and believe in me. He says, come and follow me. And then I'll show you whether or not I'm worth believing in. Come and follow me. Come and see. Come and take action with me. Come and be a part of what I am doing. Come and follow me. And Peter and Andrew and James and John, it's always amazed me. It's like, wow, they just meet this guy for the first time and they follow him. Well, actually, the other Gospels tell us that they had already been introduced to Christ. They had been following him in the social media sense. They've been watching him. They've been keeping up on his story. Peter had even experienced a healing through Jesus in his family. And so they had a reference point. They've been following him. They've been hitting the like button and making some comments about this Jesus. But now Jesus comes to them and he says to them, I believe he says it to us, he says, listen, you've hit likes enough. You've commented enough. Will you get up and will you go someplace with me? Will you leave where you've been and will you follow me? He says, I'm going to not just make you fishers of fish, I want you to be fishers of men. Because fishing wasn't just their hobby. It wasn't a vacation that they were on. They weren't on a fishing trip. This was their livelihood. And Jesus isn't belittling their livelihood. He's just trying to help them see how in this world, the kingdoms of this world want us to define ourselves by things that will not last. And so Jesus is saying, don't be defined by something that will not last. Let me add meaning to the things that won't last so that you can live for something that will last. And so he says, I want you to be fishers of men. Nothing wrong with being a fisherman. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's a great way to make a life, to provide for your family. It's necessary. It's needed. We all have to have a job. But Jesus says, listen, you were made for more than just being fishers of fish. Because what happens one day when you can no longer fish? What happens one day when you die and there's no more fishing? What happens? He said, then your life has been defined by something that will not last. Let me infuse your life with the kingdom of heaven, Jesus is saying, where you can begin to live for something that will last, even while you're living in a world of things that won't last. So let me give you maybe a couple of examples. My mom always wanted to be a teacher. And I won't go through her story, but growing up and some circumstances way outside of her control and some things done to her and some opportunities not made available to her, she never got to achieve that dream. Now, she got to do it because she became like what we would call now a children's pastor, though she didn't make any money. She wasn't paid for it. But all my growing up, she was always my children's pastor at church. And so in that way, she got to fulfill it. But then as my brother and I got older, and she wanted us to have opportunities she didn't. And so she went to work to try to help my dad provide so that we could go to college. And she got a job as a worker. Now, this was not her dream job. There were many days that she came home, took off her hairnet and her apron and wanted to quit. It was nothing that she was really enjoyed. But somewhere along her serving food that the students didn't even like to eat, she had this kind of calling from God. And she heard God say to her, basically, I don't want you just to serve food to kids. I have you there to serve care to kids who felt like you did when you were in high school. And so Mama began to see her job completely different. And she began to pay attention, especially to the kids who felt like, who she could tell, they were trying to act like they had it all together. They were trying to act like everything was okay at home. They were trying to act like they felt good about themselves, but you could see right through it all that they didn't. And she began to just, in the short time she had as they would pass through that lunch line, learn their names and care for and speak words of life over students. And before long, my mom's cash register line at the high school became the longest line, and her boss got really upset, and she said, we got this other line, and nobody's going through this line because everybody's at your line. What are you doing? And Mom's like, I'm just, and what she was doing, she was just caring for kids, and kids would rather wait in a line for the bad food and get some encouragement than just get the food and get through line. And when my mom announced many years later that she was going to retire when she had reached the time when she could get a pension and some benefits, the students did something incredible. They elected her, and they weren't joking about it. They were very sincere about it. They elected her to be the Grand Marshal of the Miamisburg High School homecoming parade. It's the only lunch lady that's ever been elected in Miamisburg's history, right? Yeah. And so how cool is this? Yeah, you can clap for my mom. Love her. But what's cool about this was, and what an example for me this was, is that how easy it is to get caught up in stuff that we have to do that we don't even like doing. And we all do that. We all have things we have to. And though we know it's not going to last, we live like that's all there is. And Jesus says, come follow me. Come follow me. You're not just where you are to serve food. You're there where you are to serve care to students that they might know that people still care. And we can be, I've been in Miamisburg before visiting with my family, and somebody who's now an adult with their own kids will walk up to my mom and said, man, you were the best lunch lady. You encouraged me. You saw me when nobody else saw me. You say, well, you see what I'm saying? Jesus is saying, listen, don't just fish for fish. That's going to be gone one day. It's not going to mean anything one day. Do whatever you do that's not going to last for something that is going to last. Come follow me. Actually on Friday, a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for about 3 years, he called me up. He said, Chad, I'm going to be passing through Lexington. Do you think you could drive over and meet me? And I said, yeah, there's a Grader's there. And he said, okay, let's meet there. And so we met at Grader's, and his name is Michael. And Michael's kind of this unique guy. When he was a little boy, he fell in love with Corvettes. And if you ever want to learn more than you ever wanted to learn about Corvettes, you talk to Michael Mills, and he will tell you whether you want to or not. Just get him on the topic. He can't stop. He just loves them. He's a part of a Corvette club. And he learned as a little boy, his dad informed him. He said, listen, if you're going to have a Corvette, you're going to have a job that makes some money. And so he's like, oh, okay. And so as a little boy, he said, I'm going to make some money. And he did. And he made so much money and did so well for himself that he's already retired. He's only a year or so older than me. And what Michael does with his Corvettes, though, because he has two, he has Kimberly would know, she's better with cars, some Stingray, something 1960s, I don't know. It's pretty. And then he has this other car that is a limited edition that came out probably about 5-6 years ago. But what Michael does with his Corvettes, is he looks for people who he feels like could use just an excuse to enjoy life. And so he'll give the keys to his Corvette, and he'll take the Corvette, and his wife will follow him, take the Corvette over to somebody's house who maybe is dealing with cancer. And he's like, the Corvette, just go enjoy it. Like, forget about everything for a weekend and just go enjoy it. And then sometimes he'll find a couple that he knows is struggling in their marriage, and he'll say, hey, why don't you guys just have a date night? Take the Corvette for the weekend, go out, just enjoy. I know this because when Kimberly and I went through our miscarriages, he came up to us one day and he said, here's the keys, I'm dropping off my Corvette. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mike, you don't understand, I'm the guy, I'll wreck the thing. Like, I don't even mean for things to happen, it happens. And he's like, it's okay. And I said, no, I can't do this. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, Chad, first of all, I have insurance. And then he said, second, if I can't use my Corvettes for somebody else to find enjoyment and encouragement, then there's no point in me even having them myself. You see, that's what I'm talking about. We make it so difficult. When Jesus says, come, follow me, we make it so hard. But Jesus is saying, no, you don't. Listen, if you just look at the things in your life that will not last. I mean, they're not going to last forever. A Corvette's not going to last forever. You can't take it with you to heaven. If you can look at those things in your life that will not last, even your hobbies, even the things you enjoy, even your recreation, and you can say, God, what does it mean for me to follow you in this? Then all of a sudden, Jesus will take the very thing that will not last in the kingdoms of this world and he'll turn it around, use it for the kingdom of heaven, and that which will not last now has a meaning that will outlast it. Man, that's powerful. When you start to follow Jesus this way, this is where life really gets exciting because his kingdom starts to break in on our lives and then breaks through our lives. I was thinking about Teresa Flores, the founder of SOAP, Saving Our Adolescents for Prostitution. I remember about 10 years ago or so when I first met her and heard her story. And if you haven't heard her story, she's a survivor of human trafficking. She was, her dad was like some big wig in a company, and they were constantly moving. They moved to Michigan. And at her high school, she's trying to fit in, trying to get to know kids, finds this older boy who shows her attention. Long story short, he laces her drink with something. They rape her. They take photos of it. And then when she is finally in her right mind, they show the pictures and what she did. And they say, you're going to have to work these off. And she becomes a victim of human trafficking from her own home in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. And she said the one night they left her for dead in a hotel in Detroit, Michigan. And somehow she survived, and she met this lady that she calls her angel, who just showed up and saw her need and helped her. And she finally broke free of that. And she says one day she happened to be driving back through Detroit, Michigan. She was kind of having a panic attack, remembering all of this as it all flushed back as she had avoided that city for so long. And that's when God gave her this picture in her mind of SOAP, Saving Our Adolescents for Prostitution, taking a national hotline label, putting on a bar of soap, putting it in the bathrooms of hotels so that maybe somebody can find hope that she didn't have in the hotel. And she goes to big events like the Kentucky Derby, like we're going to do on April 13th, and helps people be set free. And every time I participated, somebody, last year, remember, the Lovejoys and the Hildebrands from our church family, they went to a hotel, they showed the missing children, and the clerk was like, yeah, I think there's 2 of them here. Like every time it's set free. And the point is this, that even your pain, doesn't mean God caused it. It's not that God caused it. That is evil. He would never do that to someone. It's not a punishment. But God says, you know what? The thing that the enemy tried to destroy you with and wants you to be convinced that that defines you forever, I'm telling you that I can even take your pain. I can take your regrets. I can even take your past that you're not proud of, and I can turn it around, and I can use it for my good and for the glory of God and people's lives, and heaven can break in on your pain if you won't be defined by it, but you'll let me redefine it. Amen? Man, that's something powerful that God can do. That the kingdom of heaven, it breaks in on our lives and it breaks through our lives when we don't just believe in him, but we follow him. Because Jesus didn't say to these first disciples, he didn't say, hey, come and believe in me. Hey, will you hit like? Will you subscribe? You make some comments? Because that really helps. No, why don't you come follow me? Come and live this life with me. Let me live my life in your life. Let me break in on your life. And as you do that, then you'll start letting me flow through your life. And the kingdom of heaven will start breaking out everywhere, even among fishermen, as people begin to be drawn to the light, Christ himself. Do you believe in Jesus? or do you follow him? It's an important question to ask because James chapter 2, verse 19 says, the demons believe in God. Did you know that? Demons believe in God. And they shudder in fear. So obviously, Jesus is calling us to do more than just believe in him. Just give mental assent to him. Yeah, I believe in you. I like you, Jesus. He's calling us to follow him. Do something the demons wish they would have done. We follow him. And I'm so thankful that you are a church that is willing to do that. You know, this week I was thinking about the emergency shelters because this is all still new for us. We're still getting used to this, getting in the rhythm of what it means to have these emergency shelters and work with the Welcome House. And this week there is this, and they're already moving on and everything, but this beautiful elderly couple who, man, and I felt for them because I could see it. It could happen to us. Husband going through cancer, they end up losing everything because of medical bills. And half the time when they need a refuge, they have nothing. And I thought, you know what? What if everybody in this church family would have listened to all the voices that said, you can't do that. The city will never allow it. You'll never be able to build it. You'll never be able to provide for it. You'll never get insurance for it. You will never, you will never, you will never, you will never. And I believe hell just loves us to bow down to the voice of you will never and become defined by things that won't last in this world, so we miss out on what God can do when we let him in. Amen? And I thank God that you're a church that's been willing to do that. I think about stories that we hear weekly at Celebrate Recovery. And those stories have been changing my story over the last 4 or 5 years. I think about people who are willing to not just believe in Jesus. Like couples in our church family have said, yeah, our marriage is struggling, but we're not just going to believe in Jesus and like Jesus and comment on him. We're going to say, Jesus, what does it mean for us to follow you out of this struggle into new life in our marriage? And we're going to stick it out until you lead us there. There's a difference between believing and following. Believing, it stays where we're comfortable. Believing gets to let Jesus try to, make us holy where we want to stay, where we're comfortable, where it's easy, where we don't have to overcome our own pride, where we don't have to be humble, we don't have to ask for help. But when we start to follow, then we start getting over our pride, and we say, hey, I need help. Hey, I need somebody to help me. I need somebody to help me take steps out of this depression and out of this anxiety. I need someone to help me recover from my habits and my hurts and my hang-ups. And there's amazing, incredible things of God's kingdom that happens in a person's life and will happen through your life when you no longer are sitting in a church pew saying, I believe, I believe, I believe, but not following him to show that you believe, you believe, you believe. Do you understand the difference? It's one thing to believe in Jesus. The demons do that and they shudder. The question Jesus asked the first disciples and he asked us is, are you going to follow me any place? Because that shows what you really believe. And I'm telling you, be careful. I'm just going to warn you. If you follow Jesus instead of just believe in Jesus, it's costly. It's going to cost you something. If you don't want it to cost you something, then just believe. Be just like the demons and just believe. Don't follow him. You're going to risk something. There's the risk that you could lose something in this process. Jesus lost his life. All the disciples, they lost their life. It's risky. If you follow Jesus, I want to say it up front. I want to make sure you've read the fine print. There will be a cost and there will be risk involved. But man, the reward. You'll finally be living for something that will outlast all the stuff we have to live for that won't last. You'll start to see the kingdom of heaven breaking in where you live. You won't have to hear somebody else's story and try to believe that maybe God is real. You will start to experience and see and watch God work in your own life, and then you'll watch God work in other people's lives. And on those days when you get discouraged because you say, I don't know if I'm seeing God work in my life right now, you're like, oh, but God's been working through my life and he's touching somebody else. Oh, I can see God working. Man, it's powerful when you stop just believing and you start following. You know, a lot of times we talk about people in our church family who are a great example to us in that how they follow Jesus in taking 12 biblical steps, follow 8 principles that lead them into freedom that God has for all of us from habits, hurts, and hang-ups. And a lot of times we have, on this stage, shared the stories of those who have gone through that. But this year I was thinking, as we try to think about how to raise money for FOR, which is coming up on March 17th, 100% offering giveaway. If you've never been here before, whatever is given online or in person that day, we give it all away to meet the needs to be for others in our community in a tangible way. And, last week we announced that our staff and our leaders of the church have pledged to give $16,800. Some more stepped up, and now they've pledged $17,100. So we only need everybody here to give $66. You say, I can't give $66. Can you give 66 cents? Because if you give 66 cents and somebody else gives $6.66 or 67 cents, and then somebody else gives $66, somebody else gives $660, somebody else gives, who can afford to give more, gives $6,600. The next thing you know, together we can meet this goal, and again, before our community in a tangible way. But we don't want to just be a church that writes checks, right? Right? All right, good. Yeah, we don't want to be. And we're just going to do that every week, until we get a, wow, yeah, all right. We want to be a church that goes and makes FOR personal, where we get to look in the eyes of others, and we get to be the hands and feet. And we don't have to say a word, but we just get to love on people where they are and serve. And so you can start signing up now for this on March 23rd. Maybe you want to go and serve in Bracken County with our Bracken campus and do an Easter carnival for the community and for kids. Maybe you want to join us on the east end of Maysville and just love on that side of town where our East End campus is, through Maysville Hands of Hope or River Outreach Mission or Last Stop Jailhouse Ministries, to transitional housing. Some of the folks from emergency shelters go there as a next step to get to the next step. So we want to support them and paint, clean, do whatever. Who knows? People are getting all that together right now. And maybe you say, well, I don't want to do any of those. I want to do something in my community, in Adams County or Brown County, Ohio, or some other county, Fleming County, and here in Kentucky. I want to do something there. You can create your own. Just let us know so we can support you and let other people in your area know about what you're going to do so maybe they can join you. And maybe you say, I can't do it on March 23rd. Shucks, I like you. No, because good news, April 13th, you can join us for SOAP. We need to have about 100 people go with us to SOAP, the Kentucky Derby. You leave in the morning, you get there around 10, get back here about 4 or 5 o'clock, and you have served the opportunity for people who are in the second leading crime in the U.S. to maybe find freedom and hope. And then on Easter, use your influence. Because this is how it costs you. Your time, your money, your influence are the things that will become risked and will have a cost to it. Your time, your money, your influence, so that you can have God's light break in your life and break in the life of others. And as I was saying, a lot of times we hear the story of people from Celebrate Recovery who are seeking freedom from their own habits, hurts, and hang-ups. But sometimes I think we forget that their story is also about somebody else's story. And somebody else who maybe supports them so that they can be free to come to Celebrate Recovery and to seek recovery on other platforms. And one of those people is named Stephanie Hopper, and she's agreed to come and share today. Would you help me welcome Stephanie as she comes up to share? Thank you, Stephanie. He's going to put thanks. There you go. Well, Stephanie, maybe just take a minute, introduce yourself, tell us whatever you want us to know about you, and how long your family's been attending CrossPoint.
So my name is Stephanie, and my family's been coming here for about 2 years now,
Okay.
off and on. I am obviously a mom of three great children. My husband and I, Chris, will be married in August, almost 20 years in August.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm just here to share my story with you, and I'm excited to share my story with everybody.
Well, okay, let's jump right into that then. So and I know you and Chris have talked, so you have permission to share all this stuff. We have to give the little disclaimer. I'm not doing anything. He's right down there in the front row, so thank you, Chris, for supporting her. But I know you guys, one of the things I appreciate about you and Chris is you're both very real and honest about this journey. And what, for you, on your side, as a wife of someone who, like all of us, is struggling with something, and Chris had his struggle, what was life like before Chris said, you know what, I think I need to ask for some help?
So I think our story might be a little different in that, thinking back to the past, I can't really think of any negative. We have a great life. Our kids are great. I think honestly, looking at the past and now in the present, things that our past have taught us is that we are much more wholesome. We are much more honest. We are much more open. We have hard conversations. We are genuine with each other. And so I think our past, a very highly functional past, has shaped us to where we are today in the present.
Right. And I think that's a good point to make, because nobody's recovery journey and nobody's struggle is the same. It can look all different ways,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Everyone is different, and we all may be kind of walking that same line together, and we all may have kind of some same nuances here and there. But each story and each person that's going through that addiction journey, whether you're a spouse, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, it's all different. It's different for everybody.
And so when Chris kind of had, because I've heard him share his story, and when he had that kind of aha moment, I think I remember him saying he was driving someplace and kind of has this aha moment. And do you remember when he first told you about that, and how did that affect you? What was going through your heart and mind as he shared those things?
So when he told me, I think there was just so many emotions. Obviously, I was happy. I was happy that he was asking for help and that he recognized that he had a problem, because that to me is probably one of the hardest things, is to say, hey, I have a problem.
Yeah.
We as humans don't like to admit that we need help. I'm one of those too.
Right.
I think I was sad because my person that I love very deeply was going through a struggle that I didn't cause. I can't cure it. I can't control it. I'm a fixer by nature. I'm a mother. I think all of us moms have that fixing ability, and I couldn't fix him. But I think more importantly, I think I was proud, and still very, very proud. It's a struggle. Every single day is a different day. There's struggles that come along each other's path that make it hard. So I think more importantly, I think the being proud was probably the emotion that just keeps bubbling to the top for me.
Awesome. And then as he started kind of committing himself to his own recovery journey, that's not just a commitment, as I've heard from others, just from the person who's taking those steps. It has to be a commitment from the family as well.
Absolutely.
So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I remember when he was at treatment, we talked about different groups and different programs, and the commitment from him and from our family and myself as a spouse. And so I started looking into programs for myself because I had a lot of work I needed to clean up. I always jokingly say my side of the street was just as messy in its own special way. And so I attend a 12-step program here at CrossPoint on Tuesdays at 7. That's my little plug for that group. But it helped clean up some things that I needed to work on, the fixing, the controlling. And so for him, it's kind of that same side. I know when he has his meetings, and you know what, we're good. Go to your meetings, because that is a group of people that work in their own special way. God is in those rooms of those meetings. I have been to several different meetings across the United States, and every meeting is different, but the stories that are shared in those meetings are so very important. And the meeting that you don't want to go to, that's the meeting you should be in.
Right.
So there's been so many times that I've gone to a meeting, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be here tonight.
Right.
This is what I'm supposed to hear.
Yeah.
I needed to work on that. And the group, the sober community, or the community that you learn and become a part of, is just it's so heartwarming and so great. And those people are they're just amazing. I feel so warm and welcome and loved. And they don't see that person as, oh, they're an alcoholic or they have an addiction problem. They're people, and
Right.
they need love, they need support, and they need high fives, no matter if they've had a bad day or a good day.
That's right. And so, I know that for you all, the story is a little different in that it wasn't like this major struggle that's like you're in crisis mode, but I've also know things have changed for you all. I mean, and sometimes those changes are like good, and sometimes they can be uncomfortable, but they're still good. Like, can you speak to give somebody maybe else some hope that's not as far in the journey as you are, just a little farther behind? what would you say are some of the things you're thankful for your husband committing himself and taking these steps to follow God in that way?
So I'm just so thankful for everything that we have learned throughout this journey, the community that we have become a part of that leads us and guides us, and our champions for each other. I think the big thing that if I had to tell someone that may be fresh into a recovery as a spouse or a support person is just let go and let God. If you can't do anything, just pray about it. Pass it on to God. There's lots of in my groups. There's mothers that have their children struggling, and as a mom, it's so hard to say, "Okay, God, this is yours," and just making sure that it's okay to ask for help. Asking for help does not make you weak, does not make you look like you can't handle it or you are not in control, because ultimately we are not. We are all powerless. And just like in your message, if you choose to follow, God puts speed bumps in your journey for those reasons. And so you just have to trust the process and let it go.
And maybe for somebody who is sitting here today and they've been praying for maybe a long time for somebody that they love, a child, a grown child, a spouse, a friend, and they're like, man, I just don't. Stephanie, I wish I had that story, but I don't have your and Krista's story. What would you say to them?
You can have that story. Just keep praying. Just keep asking God to take your person and soften their heart, and just keep lifting that person up because their struggle is something that you can't understand. I can't understand it, but we as a support person have our own struggle, and we can only work on us and just keep praying for that person or for that loved one. And so just keep praying. Sometimes unanswered prayers happen. Just not in our time, and we have to understand it's not on our time, and we have to trust that process.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing, and Chris, I appreciate you giving her permission. Can we thank them for their story? Thank you, Stephanie. It was awesome. Thank you. And so today I want to have the opportunity, thinking, man, we can't end this message with just sitting there and saying, oh, I like that. Maybe I'll make a comment later on this. I want to invite you to stand with me, and then we're going to prepare to receive communion, and we're going to have some music playing. And this is just a time for you to talk to God during this. Yeah, you're going to stand. We're going to just talk to God. This is between you and Him, and say, Lord, would you show me where there's an area of my life where I believe in you, but you're saying, hey, now trust me. Let go, like Stephanie said, and follow me. And I think there's no better way to do that than through communion. And so when you're ready, and there's stations in the back, and there's some up here, just come forward and receive a communion. And then would you take one of the 4 cards that we have here? This will give you everything you need to know and where to sign up for the service projects and all that. But this will show you everything that the money will go to. So come and receive, and then we'll receive communion together. So just hang on to those, and then we'll open them and eat and drink together. Oh, okay. As you're going back to seat, if you just take out, got a bug trying to attack me. Just take out the bread, and we're going to get ready to receive that together. As you're preparing for that, we're reminded that Jesus, the night before He was crucified, He took out the bread and He gave His disciples a tangible reminder of how close He was, so that every time they ate, they'd be reminded that He is right there. He is with them. That when He calls us to follow Him, He wants us to know that He will never leave us or forsake us in that following. He will always be there with us. And He said, take and eat this in remembrance of me. When you're ready, just take and eat. Remember Him. And then Jesus held up the cup and he said, "This is my blood poured out for you. Take and drink in remembrance of me." So go ahead when you're ready. Heavenly Father God, we thank you so much that, Lord, you didn't just stay in heaven, you came down to us. You didn't just live among us, you died for us. You didn't stay in the grave, you overcame the grave so that, Lord, your kingdom could break in on earth and it could last forever. And you have invited us as your church to be a part of it, to be a different kind of follower in this world, Lord, to be the kind of followers who don't just believe in you, but we follow you in such a way that you keep on being able to surprise us by breaking in with your kingdom into our lives. And next thing we know, even in areas of our life where we're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, this makes no sense, I don't even enjoy this, you break in and you spread your kingdom and its hope and its love and its transformation to other people's lives. And we give you thanks for that. And Lord, we lift up March 17th and that offering and the things we're going to try to do to serve others for you. And then Easter, who we'll invite, we give that all to you, God, and ask that you would help us just to be sensitive to your voice and to follow you in that. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you come next week, and we'll see you then.